Rain lashed down, cold, unforgiving. A body lay still on the expensive rug. Police tape fluttered in the draft, a stark yellow barrier against the gray morning light. Sirens whined in the distance, their urgency fading, leaving only the rhythmic drip, drip, drip from a leaky gutter outside, perhaps from the wound itself. Another night in the city had claimed a life. Another soul had been violently extinguished. The air inside the opulent apartment was thick, heavy with unspoken questions and the metallic tang of blood. This was no simple accident. This was a brutal, carefully orchestrated ending. A single playing card, the Queen of Spades, rested conspicuously near the victim's outstretched hand, untouched by the surrounding chaos, almost pristine against the dark wood floor. Was it a calling card, a deliberate signature, or simply a cruel, meaningless joke left by the killer? Its stark black and white imagery felt like a mockery, a symbol of misfortune perhaps, or something far more personal, a coded message. Investigators gathered around it, their faces grim. They pondered its silent, ominous meaning. It felt too deliberate, too staged. A message screaming in the suffocating silence of the room. Detective Harding arrived on the scene. His face was a roadmap of too many late nights and far too much stale coffee. He thought he had seen everything the city could offer, or so he believed before this moment. This particular case felt different. It pricked at old, forgotten scars he carried. He knelt carefully, observed, but did not touch anything. He allowed the scene to speak to him in its own grim language. Its whispers were cold, chilling to the bone. They promised a long, dark, and twisted road ahead. The victim was a renowned philanthropist, Mr. Alistair Finch, loved by many, or so the initial reports suggested. But was that carefully crafted public image a facade? Secrets, Harding knew, always had a way of surfacing, like bloated bodies eventually rising in a murky river. He had learned that lesson many times. The initial clues were frustratingly few. A securely locked room from the inside, no sign of forced entry, only that strange, silent playing card. The mystery had begun its slow, insidious crawl. The final hour, an unknown countdown, had already started ticking, unseen, unheard, but definitely there, pulsing beneath the surface. The grieving widow, Eleanor Finch. An elegant woman draped in expensive black. Her tears seemed genuine enough. Perhaps too genuine, Harding thought with a cynical flicker. She spoke softly of a loving husband, of a perfect idyllic life shattered by senseless violence. But her eyes darted nervously, quickly, too quickly for a woman consumed by simple grief. What secrets did she hide behind that meticulously maintained veil of sorrow? Harding watched her. He listened intently to her carefully chosen, almost rehearsed words. He sensed a subtle tremor, a tiny crack in her polished, perfect surface. She knew more. She had to. Then there was the victim's business partner, Marcus Thorne, ambitious, sharp, and undeniably ruthless. He stood to gain a considerable amount with Alistair Finch permanently out of the picture. He offered his condolences, his voice smooth as expensive silk, but his handshake was cold, almost reptilian. He spoke of shared dreams, of grand future plans for their company. All turned to ashes now. Or were they? Harding noted the ostentatious watch on his wrist, the impeccably tailored suit. This was a man who liked control, a man who would do anything to maintain it. These two prominent figures, the widow and the partner, began to circle each other, warily, like predators sizing each other up in a confined space. Did they truly know each other? Perhaps more intimately than they were willing to admit. Their individual stories aligned, a little too perfectly in Harding's experienced view. He instructed his team to dig deeper. They soon uncovered hushed rumors, whispers of heated arguments, of secret, clandestine meetings. The victim, Alistair Finch, had been the central knot, tying them together in complex ways. Now that knot was violently cut. What dark truths would unravel from the severed threads? The city, Harding often felt, was an intricate web of lies, and he was just a solitary fly, caught within its sticky strands, struggling to find a way out. Every apparent truth he managed to uncover only seemed to reveal more layers of deceit. The widow's alibi, upon closer inspection, began to look fragile. The partner's motive was undeniably strong, almost too obvious, but nothing was solid. It was all smoke and mirrors, a carefully constructed illusion. He needed a breakthrough, a real, tangible clue, before the killer decided to strike again, or before the real truth was buried, irretrievably. The ষHour. The ominous phrase suddenly appeared, scrawled in red ink on a cryptic note, discovered hidden inside the victim's private safe. It was clearly a deadline. But a deadline for what exactly? A hidden ransom payment? A forced revelation of some terrible secret? Or more chillingly, another life about to be taken? The pressure on Detective Harding mounted exponentially. He felt it as a cold dread in the pit of his stomach. This killer was not just a murderer. They were playing a sadistic game, a deadly, precisely timed game. And the clock was very, very loud now. Every tick echoed in the tense silence of the investigation room. Harding pushed his weary team harder. He pushed himself to the brink of exhaustion. Endless cups of coffee fueled their desperate search. Sleep became a forgotten luxury. The city's frantic pulse seemed to beat in time with his own. Fast, erratic, unyielding. Each passing hour without a lead felt like a significant defeat. Each dead end they encountered felt like a personal mockery from the killer. He revisited the silent, blood-stained crime scene. He re-interviewed the inscrutable widow. He grilled the cold business partner again. Their faces remained unreadable masks. He needed to rip them off, find the fear, find the truth, before it was too late for someone else. A new, unexpected piece of evidence surfaced. A hidden ledger, meticulously detailing a series of shady under-the-table deals. The philanthropist, Mr. Finch, wasn't so philanthropic after all. This discovery changed everything. The list of potential enemies grew substantially longer. The possible motives multiplied, branching out in dark, new directions. Was this a straightforward business deal gone fatally wrong? Or was it something much deeper, something intensely personal? The ledger was like a dark map, but it seemed to lead to an even darker, more dangerous place. A place Harding hadn't anticipated. The shadows around the case deepened, threatening to swallow him whole. Then, a shocking twist sent ripples through the investigation. Eleanor Finch, the grieving widow, disappeared, vanished, seemingly without a trace. Was she another victim snatched by the elusive killer? Or did she run fearing what might be revealed? Harding's carefully constructed assumptions crumbled into dust. He prided himself on trusting no one. Yet this development blindsided him completely. Marcus Thorne, the business partner, looked genuinely shocked by the news. Or was he simply a more accomplished actor than Harding had credited him for? The game had changed dramatically. The stakes were terrifyingly higher. The ଷHour felt closer than ever. Imminent. Unstoppable. The final hour approached with dreadful certainty. The ଷHour. Detective Harding felt a strange, unnerving calm settle over him. The profound quiet before a violent storm. He had a theory now. A wild, improbable one. Based on a seemingly insignificant detail. A stray comment made days ago, almost forgotten. He found himself racing against the relentless tick of the clock. To a forgotten place from Alistair Finch's distant past. A decaying building, a place of old ghosts and buried secrets. He knew, with an instinct born of desperation, that the killer would be there. He just knew. It was a desperate, last-ditch gamble, his final one. The truth, when it was finally revealed, was as shocking as it was tragic. It was not the calculating business partner, nor the enigmatic widow, at least not directly. The killer was someone entirely unexpected. Someone who had lurked in the deep shadows of Finch's life. Someone seeking a very old, very cold revenge for a terrible wrong committed long, long ago. The Queen of Spades had been their chilling signature, a dark symbol of a debt, finally, brutally collected. The motive was not money nor power. It was pure, unadulterated pain, a deep, festering wound that had never healed. The revelation was stunning and utterly brutal. The killer confessed. Their story unfolded piece by painful piece, a harrowing tale of betrayal and of a slow-burning, all-consuming hatred that had spanned decades. Harding listened, the weight of the city pressing down on him. The rain outside had finally stopped. A fragile dawn was breaking. There were no winners in this sordid affair, only broken lives and shattered illusions. The so-called philanthropist had built his entire empire upon a rotten foundation of deceit and cruelty. And Eleanor, the widow, she had known. She had always known about her husband's darkness. Her sudden disappearance was her escape from the inevitable storm she knew was coming. The ଷHour eventually ended, but its chilling echoes remained. Justice, Harding realized, was a far more complicated and elusive word than he had ever imagined. He understood this now, more profoundly than ever before. The case was officially closed, files stamped, reports written, but the darkness lingered, in the quiet streets of the city, and deep within himself. Some truths he now knew offer no comfort, no solace, only more unsettling questions. The crime thriller. The ଷHour leaves you utterly breathless, wondering about the invisible lines we all cross, and the terrible price we or others eventually pay. Always.